Welcome to my channel, family. Today I want to talk to you about my experience with the paranormal. This video, as you can tell, there's no scary music in the background. There's no thunderstrike soundtracks, whatever. There's no horror music or anything playing in the background trying to scare you. This is basically just trying to share to you of my experience with the paranormal and things that happened to me because my dumbass, stupid ass sister. I'm making this video to entertain people. I'm making this video to share my experience with you and why you shouldn't play with the Ouija board. Things that happened to me was because of my stupid ass sister. I was always the type of guy that never liked playing video games, that never liked to play board games. I was always the type of guy that rather be hanging out inside some girl's house or whatever versus going off playing Pokemon, running off chasing Pokemons and Super Mario Brothers, Nintendos, and all that baloney stuff. So my sister always wanted to play the Ouija board, but my sister didn't have nobody to play with. So anytime, me being the young one, I always got the hand-me-down kind of stuff. So I was 9 times out of 10 in the living room watching, a movie because my television was horrible to watching. So my sister would always wanted to play with me, and she would, sometimes take me out of my room, and depending on where I am, and take me to her room and tell me, play with me. Now, when I was younger, back in the 1980s, there were a lot of movies, 1980s and the 1990s. There was a lot of movies about playing the Ouija board. One movie, the people actually stuck a pen in that little triangle thing. So instead of going to the letters, the spirit would actually literally write on a piece of paper or whatever, as long as everybody's holding on to that little triangle, whatever you call that bullshit. So another movie that always stuck into my sister's head is a group of teenagers playing with the Ouija board. One of them asks who's gonna die next. The Ouija board states this person, then that person, then this person, and that person, and this person. Sure enough, everybody dies in the same exact order that the Ouija board had stated. One of the girls dies. She falls off the boat and she ends up drowning out at sea. Her spirit goes back to her house. While she's going up the stairs, her mother looks at her and says, "Why are you soaking wet?" And the daughter just looks back at the mother and smiles, and while she's going up the stairs. So the mother's like, "Why are you acting so weird? Why aren't you answering my answer? Why aren't you answering me?" So as she's gonna follow the daughter up the stairs and into her room, she gets a knock on the door, and it's the police. Sure enough, it's the police stating that, "I'm sorry, ma'am, your daughter has been in an accident. Unfortunately, she has drowned, and they couldn't save her." Mother's like, "What are you talking about? I just saw her going up the stairs." So she closes the door, goes up the stairs. When she gets to her daughter's room, she opens the door, and sure enough, there's nobody there. That's a movie that my sister always remembered. And she every time I played with the Ouija board, I didn't think the damn board was real. I thought it was no different from playing Monopoly game or checkers. It's just an ordinary board game. I can assure you people it is not. Although some people who played the Ouija board probably told you, "Oh man, don't listen to this guy. I played the Ouija board, nothing happened to me, yada 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 yada." Well, most of the people that played the Ouija board don't have the courage to say things like that, who's gonna die next or whatever. I could tell you the type of demons that my sister pulled out of that damn thing were the real bad ones. Stuff that played in movies actually happened to me. And I'm gonna tell you all of my experiences. My sister, one day, I'm watching television in the living room. My sister looks at me and tells me to please play with her in her room. And I'm like, bro, whatever, just leave me alone, and then I'm gonna go back to my television, just whatever, one game and that's it. And when you always play on the Ouija board, that you're always asking, the person, like, are you pushing it? Or are you pushing it? So my sister always kept asking me that, and I always felt like she was insulting my intelligence, because there's only two people in that room, me and her. There's only two people that are touching that little triangle, me and her. So if I know for a fact that I'm not pushing it, what does that tell you, guys? That she's pushing it, right? Bullshit. I found that out now. So my sister was like, oh, you're pushing it. I know you're pushing it. I'm like, stupid. I'm not pushing it. You keep saying that. Like, if I'm the one that's pushing it, I'm going to stop playing this damn game and just go watch TV in the living room. Stop playing with me. I'm not stupid. So, next she starts grinning, like a mischievous grin while looking at me. And I automatically knew that she was about to ask that question. And right before I say, bitch, if you ask that question, I'm gonna bust your head wide open, I swear to you, I didn't even get to say one word. As soon as I opened up my mouth, who's gonna die next? Like, she just beat me right to it. So, sure enough, the damn thing started spinning in circles while me and my sister's holding it. Now, like I said, I believed in Jesus Christ, but I didn't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. I didn't, like, if I didn't see it, I was like, I can't, I can't say it's real. So, the thing is spinning in circles, and usually when you ask questions like that, you give the Ouija board, you generate the Ouija board to enough power that it can just really play by itself if it wanted to. So usually when you let go of it, the little triangle thing would stop. So my hands are the only ones that are touching it. And sure enough, my sister lets go of it, and she's and my hands are the only things that are touching it, and it's still going in circles. So at that moment, I'm shocked, because I know I'm not pushing it. So my sister's like, aha, I know you were pushing it. And I look back up at her and I say, I'm not pushing it. She saw how serious I was when I said that she screamed at me, well, just let go of it. So I let go of it, it stopped spinning. And I'm thinking, okay, so maybe this damn thing is not just a board game. That's when I started thinking, okay. So nothing happens. Because everything was, remind you, anytime we played in my sister's room. Because she always kept it with her, she always liked to play with it. And so my sister, one day I'm watching TV in the living room, and my sister tells me to go to my room, that she wants to show me something. So I'm like, bro, I'm watching TV, just leave me alone. She's always bothering me, right? Dumbass truck. So anyway, she's always bothering me, right? So I'm like, whatever, bro. I know that you're going to be in my ear all the time while I'm trying to watch this movie or whatever. I'm like, you know what? So, just to end your quick bullshit, let me go see what you want. So sure enough, I go to my room. But she doesn't go inside my room. She closes my door and she says, whatever you do, don't get out of your room. I just want to show you something. I'm going to go get something. I'll be right back. So I can hear her getting away from my room. I had a sense that she was doing something with the Ouija board. But I didn't know. So next you know, I hear her say, I hear her coming back to my room, and she says, Andre, you there? Like, yes, what do you want? So she says, hold on, don't open the door. Hold on, you know, and I can hear her say, whatever's in my room, come to him. And I'm thinking, wow. Like, okay, I don't really believe in paranormal stuff. You know, I believe in Jesus Christ, but I don't believe in paranormal, ghosts, and all that stuff. But let's say the fact that this thing was real. You know, like, you would put your little baby brother in harm's way. You know, like, you're 2 years older than me, and you know, you're willing to put me in danger. You know, so now, mind you, I'm not saying this to her. I'm thinking it all. And I was just so disappointed in her. I was so shocked that I couldn't say not one word to her. I just went. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I pretend I didn't hear her. I'm like, okay, bye. I went to the living room. I tried to watch television. I was so distracted. I was like, wow, what a bitch, bro. Like, you know, I can't believe that she would do that. So sure enough, whatever's in her room is now in my room, haunting the hell out of me. Stuff that played in movies actually played with me. Stuff that played in the movie Paranormal, you know, where you see the little girl being elevated from her bed. So sure enough, that actually happened to me. Only the difference is I was elevated all the way to the ceiling. And I know this because back in the 90s, there was this thing called popcorn roof. Which were like these little light balls, like foamy balls that you spray, or you can actually have it plastered onto your ceiling, which had like a little metallic on it to make it shine, to make your house look elegant. These days and age, you don't do that anymore because it creates asbestos, and you know, so nobody uses it no more. We actually had it sprayed onto the roof. We actually had a company that came in and sprayed it in. And it was so easily, you can easily take it off. All you had to do is like just swipe your hand. And like I said, it was like a little small foamy. So when it comes out, it looked like it was snowing. It would like just like fall right off. Like just like if it was snowing. And I'm thinking, wow. I wake up in the morning with all of that stuff all over me, on the bed, and on the side of the bed on the floor. So sure enough, when I look up, I see what you would call like a snow angel. Like if somebody was there and they were just moving, you know. The only thing is I only moved my right hand, so it looked like I only had one wing. And then I wake up in the morning, and I'm thinking, you know, like I said, I never thought paranormal. I didn't think ghosts. I always thought it was weird that it would fall off, and that when I looked up, it looked like in the shape of a human, like if a human was there, on the same night that I had a dream that I was being elevated. So I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. I couldn't really come up with a solution for that. I'm like, I came up with my solution was that maybe suddenly, you know, out of all the years that I was living in that house, that suddenly, you know, the glue started to, you know, wear off right in the shape of a human, you know, on the ceiling of my room. So, but then I'm thinking, why would it come off the day that I have a dream where I feel like I'm being elevated? So I really couldn't ever come up with a solution for that. Other things that happened to me, I would feel like somebody grabbing like my ankles. So when I would look at my ankles, I'm like, damn, man. And next thing you know, I feel like somebody's pulling me off the bed slowly. They pulled me off slowly. They didn't pulled me off like fast. You know, like you see in the movies. One time it actually pulled me off fast, but most of the time they pulled me out slow. The covers would jump right off of me, and the covers would come right back on me in the middle of sleep. So my closet door would slam open, like it, because I always had my closet doors closed. So it would, like, my doors would just like open like really fast, and I was like, damn, what the hell is that? That kind of scared me. You know, I went under the covers at that time. I was like, okay, you know, and next you know, I can hear like a real mean growl, like some. So when I close my eyes, I see, like, I can see like the demon, like the red face, you know, with the horns, and you know, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I can see that with my eyes closed. Like I don't know, you call that like a third eye or whatever, you know, like your spiritual eye or something. But then I was thinking, like, okay, you know, maybe something inside my closet, you know, opened my door, you know, it slid and it opened my door really fast. So like I said, I always thought solutions. I didn't think paranormal. When my television would turn on and off, I would turn it on, it would turn right back off. I'm thinking, like I said, I always had a hand-me-down. Me being the youngest one, I'm always getting the hand-me-down stuff. So, you know, it's like, okay, my TV's broken. So I would go to the wall where the TV was plugged. I would check the plug, go back to the TV, turn on the TV. It would turn off. I would try to turn it back on, but it wouldn't turn off. And I hear like something on the side, you know, like where the plug was. So I would go where the plug is at, and now suddenly the plug is off the wall and on the floor. So I would pick it up, plug it back into the wall, turn on the TV again, and it kept turning back off. So at that point I started getting mad, and I was like, damn, everybody gets a brand new television with a remote, and I get a damn television I got to actually walk up to turn it on, you know, a piece of shit TV. So I started getting pissed. Now, anytime I heard a growl, I always thought it was my Rottweiler by the name of Damien. Now, do not blame me. We got the dog with that name. We just didn't want to change his name to confuse the dog. So, sure enough, afterwards, like I said, when I would turn on the TV and I was getting mad, this time it growled, but in a laughing way. Like it sensed that I was getting mad, and it was like laughing at me, like ha 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 ha. I mean, we're getting you mad. So, you know, like if he was saying like, damn, you're so stupid, you know, like, you know, don't you understand that you're being taunted? You know, it's not the television, you know, it's me, you know, so whatever. When I heard that growling, laughing way, like ha 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 ha, I'm starting to think, okay, that's weird. I never heard a dog laugh, so I can't say that that's my Rottweiler this time. So anytime I heard a growl, I would always look out my window to see if it was my Rottweiler. My Rottweiler wasn't even there. Other things that happened, when I was sleeping, in this ear, I would hear like somebody whisper, like not whisper, like whispering, but not like very softly, like, do you believe in the devil? You know, and I'm like, so I answered that question in the middle of my sleep. You know, every time it always messed with me, I was like half asleep, like sound asleep. So that's when it liked to mess with me the most. So you know, I answered the question. I'm like, yeah, so maybe not really. So I guess that pissed him off, and he growls real loud. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Other things that happened, I would see a black shadow in the middle of my room, not leaning against a wall, not leaning against any furniture, in the middle of my room. So me being stupid, thinking, how is my shadow standing in the middle of the room, not leaning against anything? Mind you, I was sitting down, and the shadow was standing up. So I'm thinking, okay, but I'm sitting down. How can the shadow be standing up? So maybe a light, you know, was making it look like I was standing up, you know. But then again, how is it standing in the middle of my room? You know, that's weird. So when I lean towards the shadow, check this out. The shadow leans right back to me, to the point where this face is like right close to my face, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, how is my shadow in the middle of the room? I'm still thinking it's my shadow. So but I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna dwell on it much. I can only come up with solutions for certain things. I can't come up with solutions for everything. Times where I was taking a shower, the lights would turn off while I'm in the shower, because it wanted me to, like, I guess, trip and fall and hurt myself. Trying to put the light back on. From my knee all the way to my ankle on my right leg, I had 3 claw marks all the way down my leg, from my knee all the way to my ankle. Other things that happened, it was kind of like messed up. I would wake up in the morning, and there was like 7 or maybe 10 knives from the kitchen. And I'm talking about big knives, some small knives and some big knives. And they were, as soon as I opened the door, sure enough, all those knives were right there on the floor. And the hallway right next to my room. And I'm thinking, who the hell put all these knives here? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe my mother, was, washing dishes or whatever, and all these knives fell, and she forgot to pick it up or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like, every time something happened, I'm always thinking logical stuff. So, one thing that was kind of messed up, like I said, most of the time that it happened, messed with me is when I was sleeping. I was sleeping, and my right hand goes up to my shoulder, grabs the covers, pulls off the covers, and I suddenly start getting up out of the bed. But subconsciously, I'm thinking, what am I doing? Am I sleepwalking? I just want to go back to bed. But it wouldn't let me go back to the bed. Next, I start getting like thoughts, like an urge to go to the kitchen, get a knife, and kill my family. That's how bad these demons were. That it was not just trying to possess me, but it was actually trying to commit murder. Thanks God that never happened. Who knows what, But, I don't know how to explain it, how I know this stuff. I mean, I maybe watched a lot of movies, like I always was, a lot of people say that, movies rottens the brain, television rottens the brain. It's actually video games, to be honest with you. Me watching movies such as Ghost, with Whoopi Goldberg, she gets possessed, and she just wills the damn thing out of her body. Get out of me, you son of a bitch. So that's exactly what I did. I got that fighting spirit, and I tried to trap the damn thing into my mirror, because my closet doors were actually mirrors. So I tried to look at the mirrors at my closet, but it wouldn't let me turn my face. So then that's when I said, okay, there's other ways I could do this, bro. I'm like, just get out of me, you son of a bitch. And sure enough, it got out. I jumped right back on that bed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna deal with your ass in the morning. I never told my parents anything, because I always felt like they wouldn't believe me. Like if I'm crazy. And it's kind of crazy, that happens. So anytime something happened to me, in life in general, no matter what the situation is, I always handle it myself. I don't call anybody, to help me or whatever. I would be watching TV in my living room, and suddenly my mother's washing dishes. My mother tells me, Andre, stop playing around. So I said, what are you talking about? And she heard my voice all the way from the living room. She turned around and real fast and screamed, ah! You didn't just growl in my ear? I'm like, no, I'm over here watching television. What are you talking about, man? You're making me miss the movie. Leave me alone. Kind of like my sister, like I always felt like they were always bothering me. TV in the living room, and I look down to the end of the hall where my room is at, and I can see my door opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. But it wasn't like closing all the way. It was just moving back and forth. Like if something was kind of like, you know, calling me, you know, like if you, like, you know how somebody's like going like that, you know, like that's what I felt. Like something was trying to drag me into my room. And so I tell my mother, who's washing dishes in the living room, like, look, I'm moving back and forth. So my mother's like, Andre, stop playing around. Like, she, I guess, knew that something was going on. Because, you know, like I said, I always thought, you know, some logical thing. I'm thinking, okay, maybe when the air conditioning is, you know, opening the door, and then, you know, the air conditioning from my room is closing the door. So, you know, I'm like, you know, I always thought something. You know, and one day I'm in my room, and I'm trying to go to the kitchen and, you know, get something to drink. But I twist the door handle, and it twists all the way. But when I'm pulling it, it wouldn't open. So my mother's going back and forth in the living room, from her room to the kitchen and all that stuff. So I tell her, Mom, look in the door cracks and see if you see anything wedged in there from opening my door. And she says, no. Are you playing with me, Mom? Like, you know, are you locking me in here? I'm like, no, you know, so she starts trying to help me. She's pushing the door while I'm pulling it. You know, at first she tells me, you know, get away from the room, because she thought I was playing with her. So she hears my voice coming all the way from the back of my room, you know, and she's trying to twist the door handle and push the door, but it's not opening. So now me and her are like tag teaming on this, you know, like she's pushing while I'm pulling, and we're pushing. She's pushing like hell, and I'm pulling like hell, and it finally starts to open. Like it starts like open. But then, like, as soon as you stop pulling hard, it will close right back. So, you know, then we start pushing and pulling, but this time we don't stop. So, you know, and we finally get the door open. As soon as that door opened, there goes that growl again. So me being stupid, must be my dog again, must be Damien. So I tell my mother, like, you heard that, right? You heard that. You know, and she's like, wow. So, you know, I go back to my room, and she's like, no, she's trying to, I'm trying to open the window to see if my dog is there. And she knew it wasn't my dog. And, you know, and that's when she was, trying to tell me, no, come here, don't go back to your room, don't go into your room, you know. So, you know, eventually, you know, I opened the window, you know, my dog's not there. So then I'm thinking, where the hell's that growling coming from? My mother knew, but I didn't. So I go out, you know, grab some drink, and my mother did not want me to go back into my room. So she's like, why don't you watch TV in the living room? Like she didn't want to tell me what's going on. You know, and eventually, you know, later on, you know, I'm hearing her talking about getting a priest, you know, and, you know, like some priests, you know, would not come to the house, that she tried to call Catholics, you know, and all that stuff. And they say that, you know, no, that the Catholics won't come. She tried calling Christians, and finally we got a Christian to come over the house to bless the house. She told my sister, you better throw that damn board away. So we hid that board, and one of our neighbors' ice cream trucks, they had like a little business for an ice cream truck that, you know, I don't even think it had an engine, you know, it wasn't used running or anything. And we just put it inside there. And after that, you know, everything started going away, you know, and it's funny because, you know, there's a lot of things that happened to me, you know. Another thing that happened to me, I was lying in bed, and you know, like I said, everything that happened to me mostly happened to me when I was like sleeping. So I would turn my face this way, I would turn my face this way. Doesn't matter what face I turned, like I could not get comfortable. So next you know, I started going faster and faster and faster till my head was going like and it's funny because I always like to watch the travel channel, you know, my ghost stories, my celebrity ghost stories, and you know, just to see if anybody had the same experience that I had, so I wouldn't feel like I'm alone. Because mind you, like I said, I always the reason I never went to my parents was because I felt like, one, they're not gonna believe me, and two, I felt like I was a warrior of God. I always believed in Jesus Christ, I just didn't believe in ghosts. I always had that fighting spirit in me because I always considered myself a warrior of Jesus Christ the Almighty. So one day I'm watching celebrity ghost stories, and I see this girl who played in White Chicks. Her name is Jamie Keene, and she stated she went on celebrity ghost stories, and she stated that in the cemetery. So when she used to play in the cemetery, you know, I guess one day, you know, something followed her home.
I couldn't open up my
mouth
to scream.
You know, like I said, the same thing that happened to me, you know, with my head going back and forth, it happened to her. Only difference was it didn't happen to her, it happened to her boyfriend. So she's sleeping, and next you know, she hears.
And I started hearing this very loud.
So when she turns around, she looks at her boyfriend. She sees his head going back and forth.
Like this.
So she wakes him up and then says, you know, hey, are you okay? You know, what's going on? And he didn't know. He knew what was going on, but he couldn't describe that you know what was going on. Like, you know, like he saw, like he didn't know why he was doing that. And it's kind of crazy, you know. So like I said, I'm doing this video to warn everybody of playing with the Ouija board. Do not play with the Ouija board. It is not Monopoly. It is not checkers. It is not a board game. You know, be smart. I thought it was. It's not. So if you're ever going to a party with friends and somehow, you know, somebody brings out a Ouija board, or it's already there on the table, even if your house is 200 miles away, you're better off walking home than being in that house. Because next thing you know, when somebody's being tortured, some people go through a lot of extreme you know, things to you know, save themselves. And maybe one day your friends can do the same thing to you that my sister did to me. Whatever's in my room, come play with him. Okay? And believe me, you don't want these things happening to you. So like I said, there's no scary music in the background. This is not to scare anybody. This is to warn you. As far as for my sister, I didn't really blame her because, you know, I guess a guy being tortured by demons is not as scary as a girl. Like if I was a girl, I guess I'll be 10 times more scared. So in a sense, I don't blame her, but it is messed up, you know. I guess guys can take heavier punches. I don't know how to explain it. I gotta tell you guys that when all this stuff started happening to me, I was around 11 or 12 years old. And usually at that age, you know, if you see a ghost in your room, you would have probably even opened the door. You'd probably bust right through the door and scream to your mom and dad. But like I said, I always had Jesus in my heart. And as long as I had Jesus in my heart, I knew I wasn't afraid of nothing. You can bring on the works, buddy. You know, you demon, you know, whatever. I'll fight you without telling my mommy and daddy. So, you know, you gotta be a brave little 11-year-old, 12-year-old to go through stuff like that. But then again, like I said, I felt like no one was on my side, you know, to run to. I consider myself a warrior of God, and I had Jesus on my heart, so I knew Jesus would defend me. You know, I know Saint Michael would defend me, and that's about it. Okay, so anyway, this is my experience with the paranormal. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, like, but mostly do me a favor, comment below and tell me I'm not alone. You know, say you know, your experience, whatever, or do your own videos, and you know, tag your video into my comments or whatever, and I'll gladly look at it. All right, so you guys take care and take it easy. All right, see you on my next video.